healed my heart first, and why you should heal your heart first too. And that's just my opinion. Okay. Well, the heart runs everything. The heart runs everything. Every single program that is in here, every single aspect of your life is run from the heart. We do things usually because of how we feel about someone or how they make us feel. And we don't usually forget how people make us feel. Well, my husband made me feel like a queen. I'm not going to say anymore. We had a wonderful marriage. And I knew that if I did not heal my heart first, my life would fall to pieces. That was just something I knew. When the love of your life dies and your heart is so broken, you can't do anything. And this is what I think happens. A lot of times when we lose such a close person, we are programmed to go right back to life as usual afterwards. But we know that that doesn't happen. That can't happen. And this is what happens when we are going from a perspective of what society expects us to do. We stay home for a few weeks. We do the funeral thing. And I know a lot of widows, a lot of women who go back to work after the second week because they have to, because they need to make a living. This is what happens. When you go back to work, you were not given the chance, you did not give yourself the chance to heal the heart or to begin to heal the heart. Now, let me explain, because yes, it's good to be around people. However, in my experience, knowing the heart runs everything, it's important to heal the heart first, because when you heal the heart, everything else heals. Work will always be there. If they say they'll fire you, go find another job. There will always be some type of work there. Your heart, however, will go down different paths. So I mourned my spouse for 3 months. Three months of mourning in struggle, trying to heal my heart. And at 3 months, I chose to end the struggle. When I ended the struggle is actually when my heart started to heal, because I was holding on to so much resistance. And I know resistance can be a good thing, and it can also be a not so good thing. You know, we live in a life of duality, so I use the word good and bad, you know, high and low, because that's the world we live in. And I knew that healing the heart would heal everything else. Every other aspect was already really great in mine and my husband's lives. Everything was great. Our love for each other was great. And when he died and you're not expecting it, you know, it breaks your heart. And it broke my heart. And I will tell you, I was broke. I had no money. I didn't work because I was not working at the time. Even though I was a school teacher, during that time, I was not working. So then what happened? I had no money. I have a house. I have my vehicles. I'm not 100% debt-free, but more debt-free than not, which was just my student loans that I was not debt-free in. And then what do you do? So what do you do? This is where I have so much compassion for women, because now that I've had this experience, I understand the challenges that comes with everything. But I'm not your typical woman. So everything worked out for me because of the consciousness level that I chose to be a part of in order for me to heal my heart first. I chose to go to these workshops, and I chose to be part of this consciousness of seeing a bright, beautiful future. And even though I was feeling heartbroken, I did this. Even though I was here, I was on the ground, I was broken, and yet somehow I found the will to get to that first workshop, which was states away from us. We did a road trip, me and my girls. I couldn't even drive. My oldest girl had to drive because my head was still so traumatized that it was just constantly pounding and pounding, and there's nothing, they couldn't find anything wrong with me physically, so it was emotionally. And then that's why I think you should heal your heart first, because when you heal your heart, you can move on and you can transform the grief from pain to bearable to, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. All I knew was that I was not going to live in that world of despair and grief because I lost my spouse. And for a hot moment, for 3 hot moments, 3 hot moments of 3 long months, I lost that. I lost me. And I've always known who I was or who I am. And this experience just kind of turned my world upside down. And I want you to know that that's okay, but don't stay there too long. Don't stay there for years. It's unnecessary. And I am still healing my heart. This isn't something that gets healed overnight, but every day you close that wound a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And it may always have a scar. It may always need that Band-Aid, but it won't always bleed. The scar will cover up the blood. And that's where I am now. So find a way to heal your heart. Because when you heal your heart, you heal your life. And there is so much so healing your heart. And I didn't just, when I came back from the workshops, I did the work. I did my work. I created practices. I changed my grief experience from that of what society says to that of what I need. And I did not go back to work until I was ready. And I felt that my spirits were guiding me to go back to work. And yes, I had to get on food stamps because, like I said, I had no money. But I got off of food stamps a month before I went back to work. I had decided, okay, I'm going back to work. I went to the food stamps office and I said, I don't want your food stamps anymore. And they're like, ma'am, but you can get them for a whole year. And I'm like, I so appreciated it when I needed them. And I was so grateful to get out of them. But I wasn't ever in a rush to get out off of them. But I had to. I had no one to help me. And we were fortunate enough that my daughter she had just turned 16. So she was able to get on Social Security. It wasn't much, but it paid the light and it paid the, we didn't really have a lot of bills, but it bought food because that food stamps were free. That was not enough. So basically it bought food and paid our light bill and gas. And then I thought, I'm not living like this. So when the time was right, I went back to work. But when I went back to work, I had so much healing already in my heart that I was able to embrace the gratitude of going back to work, because I was not supposed to have to go back to work. That was one thing. And that can weigh heavy on you when you have that type of thinking. And it was such a huge, huge gratitude for me to be able to go back into the work environment after losing my spouse. And then not just going, but going and being an inspiration to others. And my journey just continues from there. So enjoy and kindness. Have a great Tuesday.